And great to have you back on the programme. As discussed in my big opinion earlier, the Tories took a beating in the local elections last week. Are they down but not out?
I think that probably sums it up. Certainly they did. They took a drubbing, but it wasn't as bad as it might have been. And they do have, a year, more than a year to go. So it is possible that they can make some recovery. But as I've said umpteen times before, they're not going to make it by following the path they're following at the moment, which is effectively keep the ship steady. But we don't know where it's going.
Do you anticipate a shift in terms of policy between now and the next election from number 10?
Well, I don't necessarily anticipate it because I don't think they understand that that is what needs to happen. I don't think they've grasped the fact that people want lower taxes, for example. So I don't necessarily anticipate it, but I would like to see it because it would be a sign that they're actually listening. At the moment, as I say, they're concentrating hugely on steadiness without having a clue about destination. And they could find that they've kept a very steady ship, which ends up on some rocks.
And in my big opinion, I said that the results from the May the 4th local elections were spectacularly bad for the Tories, but not spectacularly good for Labour. It's my view that based upon these results, Labour cannot form an overall majority at the next election. What's your view?
I think that reading is also right. It's one of the reasons why I said that I thought you were right to say they were down, but they weren't out. The Tories, that is. Because Labour should have done a great deal better. These are midterm elections. The government has been through a period of great turmoil. The cost of living is terrible. We got strikes everywhere. Inflation's dreadful. And you would have thought, therefore, that the opposition would have had some spectacular successes, but actually their successes were, comparatively speaking, modest.
I know you're no cheerleader for Rishi Sunak. You consider him and the Conservative Party to be a great disappointment, Anne, which is why you're backing Reform UK at the next election. But do you think in a presidential face-off between Sunak and Starmer that Sunak edges it?
Oh, I think there's no doubt about that. I mean, Starmer, it just has nothing to offer. I mean, every time I see him, I think, well, what is it he's just said? Because he makes no impact at all. And when he does state something, within a very short time, he's reversed it, just reversed it. So if you actually took a microphone out there and asked people on the street, what are Rishi Sunak's big policies, they couldn't tell you because there aren't any.
And let's get to the coronation now. Were anti-monarchy protesters treated badly by the police? Were the police overzealous?
Ask yourself this question. If just one, and don't forget they weren't just anti-monarchists, there was the eco-oil people and all the rest of them there as well. Just ask yourself this question. If just one of those demonstrators from whichever group had glued themselves to a road or had spooked the horses with a megaphone, if just one of them had done that, the uproar would be enormous. What were the police doing? The police had all the time in the world to prepare for it. The police have got new powers. Because the police were absolutely determined that that was not going to happen and that they were going to take immediate action if they saw people with megaphones or with what they thought were attachments. If that was what they decided to do, they did it splendidly. And my attitude to what happened at the coronation is to say to the police, congratulations now, do it again, because normally they go there and they offer the protesters tea. Do it again, constables. Do it again.
Anne has spoken. Anne, your memories from the last 24 hours, the coronation, your highlights.
Well, it's been so wonderful that it's very difficult to say that one bit was any more wonderful than the other. I think that picture of the king when he'd got all what I call the bits and pieces, which is a bit disrespectful, but he got the orb, he got the sceptre, and he was sitting there with the medieval robe on, and it was a moment when you could have been looking at any king in history, and I think that was a wonderful moment. You forestalled me. I was also going to comment on Princess Anne's very convenient feather.
Indeed so. I love Princess Anne. In fact, I like both Annes, Princess Anne and Queen Anne, the jewel in the crown of Mark Dolan tonight. Anne, we can't wait to catch up in a week's time. Anne, of course, our regular newsmaker on a Sunday, best-selling author, television personality and former government minister. And Anne, I can leave you with the results of our text poll with our viewers and listeners. Earlier today, we asked, did the police go too far with the protesters? 24% said yes, but a thumping 76% said no. They are with Anne on that one. Thanks, Anne. We'll see you in 7 days' time.